Hi, this is Merlin. Today I'm going to talk about what I learned today. But actually, I was not able to learn something because today I had an interview and I literally had no time to study. So let's do the recap of some kind of key factor that front end developer needs to know. So let's do it. So how so the principle of browser rendering. So actually, if you look at the browser render part, so how does browser rendering does do so? In the browser is actually a software application, right? In the browser, there's a browser process and render process, and render process there's a main thread. So in the render process, in the main thread, there's a rendering happens in that process. So what is browser rendering? So browser when browser receive the HTML from network thread, so the browser will make parse it into make into DOM, this document object model, which is representation of your HTML. It's just a tree structure of your HTML tags. So after that, you have to add you have to attach the CSS selectors. Because example, you specify the style based on the class name. So this class name have to attach on the element. So these styles have to attach in the DOM node. So that's called style. This called style. So after that, layout happens. So what is layout? So if you try to see how if you click right button of your mouse and analyze your web page, you can see everything is box. Everything is box. So layout, what the layout does is it just analyze the struct the size of the element, and it just layouts based on the size or whatever. And after that, after layout there's a paint of it. So paint is exactly make so put visibility on the pixel. So if it so example, if it is display none, it's not gonna part of render tree. So we're gonna paint. So paint is one who visible. So it's just like changing the as some kind of file into pixel. There's a paint. So example, you example div, there's a div element, and above that there's a example h1 element, and you have to imagine that you are just just cutting a paper. Just example, there's a paper on it, there's a div paper, and if you put the h1 paper above the div, there's a it looks like 3D, and that's how paint works. So how about composite? Composite is just like it's just composite of your elements of. But the thing is that it seems like I'm trying to describe it with very easy term. You just like take a screenshot of of the front part of your 3D paper. So 3D paper looks like 2D because you take a picture of your front part of it. So this is how border rendering works. So when does reflow repaint does? Reflow is layout. So which means that relayout. So relayout means that if there's a size, anything that as size changes, like width changes or some kind of like focus or whatever. So it's just gonna do the reflow. A repaint is just like if there's a visibility changes. So that's how reflow does. And next is what does happen if you enter google.com in the address bar. Um, so so what happened is if I put the address bar will be analyzed. It is just plain text or URL. So you're just gonna analyze it. So what does it do? Who does it? I mean, who analyze this is keyword or URL. So UI thread is the one who do it. See what UI thread in the browser process is a UI thread. Yes, we are front-end developer, but we have to understand what is application, what browser is. Browser is app software application. Of course there's a processing thread. So let's go back again. So if you put a google.com on the address bar, UI thread, we're just gonna parse it and if it is URL or not. If you click it, so network thread we get the IP address of the google.com, because when you first enter the website, you never visit the website, so you need some the IP address of that web server to get the resource. And that is how DNS lookup do. So DNS lookup is just like, first of all, you have the browser, it just look at the browser cache. If there's no cache value, IP address, the domain name and IP address pair of the cache value. If there's no of it, you have to go to DNS resolver. DNS resolver is just like a plain, it's just like a phone book. The key is the name of it, but the value is the phone number. So there's phone book. So DNS resolver is also like that. And yeah, this is it. And so after DNS resolver, and if also DNS resolver have a cache on it, when there's no cache on it, go to the root server. So root server does not have IP address of it, of that the user desire, but it just retrieve TLD, top level domain system, if it's .com or .net or .whatever. So you're just gonna retrieve the IP address of it. And after receiving the TLD IP address, and you're just gonna look up the real DNS of your website. For example, TLD we're just gonna retrieve .com IP address, and you're just gonna check out the DNS that only has .com. So you're just gonna see how your website. For example, if my website is scriptmine.com, you are just gonna check the scriptmine.com on the DNS, and after receiving the full IP address of it, and rather than just going back, you have to cache on it, to prevent the unnecessary DNS lookup. So you're just gonna cache on the DNS resolver, and after DNS resolver, you're just gonna cache on the browser side. So that's how it works. So after that, DNS resolver is doing it, and finally you found the IP address of your web server, and you're just gonna request the HTTP or HTTPS request. So HTTP request, the get of it. But if it is, and you're able to make the TLS handshake. So what is TLS handshake? It's just like, I just really don't get it, TLS handshake. So I think what I think of TLS handshake is just like, make sure that make sure that the sync and act on it. So make sure that there's no some kind of, I forgot it. Make sure the handshake work, and I think that is how TLS work. I'm not sure of it, but after that, when you receive some kind of HTML, CSS, or some kind of file, as HTML, which is gonna get the status code of 301 redirect. The reason redirect is mostly we don't specify .html on the URL. We just gonna just empty URL on the website. But if there's empty URL, your web server has to retrieve HTML instead of really empty route. So after that, in thread sends HTML to the render process, and render process is the one who draws the HTML, what renders. So that is how it works. Yeah, this is it. And Clojure is next. Hoisting is just like example var or let or const or functions function declaration. So it's just gonna pull up to the top of your code and erase the memory for the specific code of it. So erase the memory of it and put it undefined on it. That's how coasting works. And the bar and on the let and const do not is not able to put the undefined on it. So and this is a difference. But hoisting is just pulling up of your code. And closure is it's just like the inner scope can reference the outer scope. The closure is simple. Yeah, there's some people say Lexcar environment, but they don't know what is Lexcar environment. They don't it's just like the environment of the inner scope can reference the outer scope. It is that's a closure means. Yeah, and this is the end. So see you tomorrow. Bye bye.